This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to my review of Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate and Megamind Rules TV show. And to be fully honest, this is just more disappointing than it is bad when watching it. It's just you wondering why this couldn't have been as great as the original. It's not completely terrible, but it just doesn't have anything that really compares to the first film. The cast is just not as great. They, for whatever reason, decided to rename the character of Minion to Old Chum, which was just such a stupid decision. I think me and basically anyone else who saw this movie, well, the original movie before they saw this, will forever call that character Minion. It was just stupid to rename him, and it's even dumb reason saying it was some thing where someone's name can't be their name because of some stupid copyright law. And honestly, just made no sense. But going into this, I feel like they had a kind of solid story here, but they really could have just cut it down from a movie and a show just into a single movie setting up another movie, and could have used that money instead to actually hire Will Ferrell and the other cast members because this just feels like they're just changing too much. They changed Roxanne from being, a more of a kind of comedic take on the Lois Lane damsel in distress archetype to is just kind of tired of this, into just becoming the mayor, which just felt like a really odd change, but probably the smallest of all of them. This one also made Megamind a lot more insecure, although he does have his insecurities in the movie, the original one. It's just pulled up a lot more on this. And it also, even though they do set up a show, just set up like two main antagonists for it being different members of the Doom Syndicate and the Go Fish Gang, where just none of them were really entertaining. And then they have just the extremely annoying child sidekick who, I mean, didn't need to be here. She's just generally annoying, and there's no real point of her being here. And as I said, the decision to change Minion's name to Old Chum is annoying, but besides that, he's the only character who really feels like he fully came over from Megamind, and the only one that really chose a good enough voice actor to replace him because everyone else definitely sounds off from the original one. And it's not even just bad, it's just disappointing. When I'm watching, I'm just like, besides a few moments, like the the girl sidekick, she gets really annoying when she goes into. Well, I just don't get why is always done wrong when they ever try to make a character that's some kind of influencer or YouTube star or whatever the equivalent is. They're almost always a character that you just want to be killed off as quickly as possible, and they completely doubled down on that in the first episode of the show, which was almost completely unwatchable because of the character who it was something monkey that is just so irritating that first episode. It is really bad. But yeah, really, this has very few interesting things. I think it would be just a lot more beneficial to, instead of having, instead, a movie and a show They could have just cut that all down and just made this a single movie where they could have just had the entire part where Megamind pretends to be a villain cut out, and then have him taking on his old allies and his old mentor, where it just ends with him being framed by him for his crimes and having to go seek out Metro Man. I think that that would have been a far superior story to tell, where they just cut out of all this unnecessary stuff because it just all felt like they were just kind of wasting time and wanted to get to this point where Megamind gets framed for turning to evil and wanting to find Metro Man, but that's the most interesting part of the entire movie and series, and that's how it ends. I think that it just would have helped so much if they literally just took all of this and trimmed it down into just a single, maybe maybe and a half hour movie, and use the budget for making everything else to just toss into getting Will Ferrell and the rest of the cast back. This could have honestly been incredible, but it's just a lot of good or decent ideas that spread out between a movie and a show where it just has a lot of other stuff that just gives me just the most disappointed experience ever. It's not even really terrible. It's just disappointing. It's like when someone just does something stupid and you're not even mad. You're just disappointed in them. If you know what that's like, that's just what this was. There's really just no other way to say this. It's disappointing. I really can't explain it better than that. But honestly, what do you think? Because I think some people were hating on this a little too much. I mean, it's not really good, but as I said, it's disappointing and it does have its occasional moments. But overall, I could just say it was just disappointing. If they do another season of the show, then I think that they really need to go and do what really worked, which was going a little more into I don't even know how to describe what was interesting, but it was just those little parts with his villain and him setting everything up and bringing himself kind of back to life. That was all interesting, but as I said, it was just small parts which really could have built a great movie overall that was just spread out between so much bad or just the kind of mediocre stuff that it just left me extremely disappointed. And then there's another really stupid thing in this, which is completely retconning the timeline of really everything. If you watch the first movie, it's clearly set in 2010 or earlier, where there's no real presence of smartphones or really any other, modern things. But with this, it has a pretty heavy reliance on like more modern internet culture and everything, and it really makes no sense if they want this to be set immediately after the first Megamind. If there was maybe like a five, probably more better for it to be a 7 year time jump, then it would have actually made sense. But yeah, just to have it set right after Megamind just really makes no sense because there was nothing to say really that the internet existed at all during Megamind, and suddenly it is just a huge part of this series, and it just is just really weird. But honestly, I want to know what you think, so please let me know in the comments, and also next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.